Welcome back to Free Up. Before we went to break, we're talking about, how interracial marriage is and how you said you were hurt when you see white women dating the black guys. Have you heard of the term bad wench?
No.
Ladies?
I've heard of a bad wench before.
No.
So if we're going to go, because there is a historical context to all of this, even with interracial dating, I think. So a bed wench was, the master would have women, black women, who he would sleep with, which is why there's all these sometimes mixed race babies. That's how the whole mixed race thing started.
Yes.
Right? Because they would have their wife and their children, but then they would always have a black woman or a few on the side, right? And they called them bed wenches. So it leads me to think, is this, and it's come across my mind a few times, is the black man dating a white woman, is there any way that could be them like getting back at white men?
The reverse, eh?
Like reversing it, like just switching it up to be now your women are our wenches?
So you're saying it's dating back to slavery days?
We're going back to slavery when we first started to see this whole concept. Because before that, obviously, I'm sure when we're back in Africa, it was blacks dating blacks. Yes, we had light skins. Yes, we had mixed like different shades of black.
Of black, yes.
But this whole idea of the bed wench and mixed race children, that happened after slavery started.
Right.
So do you think that has anything to do with what's happening with our black men right now? Do you think they're just taking their power back?
I'm about to say, or not even after, but during that time.
During? Okay, because remember, white women, can't forget, they call them studs.
So you're going back.
Yeah, but they flipped it. So white women would, they'd have their little deggy small dick white man, but then they would have
Small dick.
you guys missed out. They're like
let me help you out. They had that guy. So they had the deggy
this guy,
and then they had
this guy. Right.
All right.
So they would call on these black men and bring them in. Sometimes these black men would end up killed, and sometimes some things like that.
Oh,
because,
for sure.
Right? Because if they were caught or whatever the case might be, or if the white woman just got vexed or whatever, she would have the man killed. But is this a way of a black man taking back his power?
It could be, right?
I think you have a point there.
How else are you going to show your vexation and your frustration with a certain race, right? You can't just go and try to wipe them out. You say, you know what? I'll go and I'll take the women. Which is not really taking, because they're coming anyway.
It's true. In both ways. But anyways.
Girl.
I'm just saying, I know I need a drink.
But in this day and age, does it still bother us as much as back then, like in the 80s and the 70s, when it wasn't really accepted?
I think it's getting more accepted now, because it does. I can honestly say it doesn't bother me now.
Does slavery bother you
now?
But
I mean, yes, of course. Like when you think about what happened, of course, and we still are dealing with the effects of slavery, of course.
For sure.
But I think that also we are making progress one little step at a time. And I think that, I try to give people the benefit of the doubt and just say, I hope that you're in a relationship because you're in love and this is the person that you've chosen because it's the best person for you. And really, that's what I would want for my son even, is to be with a woman that's going to love you unconditionally, be with you and make you happy. At this point, I don't even really care.
So today you give them a pass.
I would give him a pass.
What's his name? Wesley Snipes? He gets a pass?
Snipes.
Not for being ignorant. And like I think it would be
what was his comment again? What did he say about dark skin?
He doesn't like black women?
He doesn't like dark skin or dark women. What did he
Isn't he dark?
Very.
I'm tired of dark-skinned women getting the shitty end of the stick. I'm so pissed because all light-skinned women aren't cute.
That's absolutely
true. But they are beautiful dark-skinned women.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Pretty.
Yes, absolutely.
But a lot of that too, I think, is self-hate. Wesley Snipes don't like himself.
Who can? After he owed the government so much money.
Only a white woman would take him after that.
Black women would say, you broke ass.
After that.
You broke.
Black girl like, oh, Wesley Snipes has tax problems?
You broke.
Yeah. But that's when he'll find the black woman. When he was loaded with the cash.
You know what, want us, but that's when we, and of course, black women, one thing I will say about that is we're so accepting.
Yes, and forgiving.
Yes. And very forgiving. Like, I know women who will, my personal experience. So, I should be careful here.
Be careful.
Jesus. Go ahead, girl. Go ahead. Take a drink. Go ahead.
I don't want to call names. I should be mindful of that. But no.
Tommy.
So yes, there was a Lucretia.
Lucretia.
Okay. And she was dating a man. He left her for a white woman. Okay. And it was very close. She's a very close friend of mine. And she went through hell. Had babies with him, went through hell. After the white woman, obviously, he went to jail. I'm not going to say obviously he went to jail. That's terrible to say. But he did go to jail. Okay. And when he came out, obviously, white woman was gone.
Who do you think took her back?
Lucretia.
Lucretia, yes.
That was her name. She was right there.
Yeah.
Right? So it's one of those things, again, where it's like, it's sad that we still have to talk about this, but it needs to be understood. And we have to bring up, Black men do it a lot more than white. Black women, we don't step out unless we really have to. We will stay very close to home unless we're completely fed up.
So we'll date like a bunch of Black guys, and if it didn't work out, we're like, we're done.
Yeah, it seems to me like sure Black men are date outside of their race a lot more than Black women do.
Yeah, it comes natural for them to do that.
Yeah.
But they always have their kids. Like their first kid is always Black, and then the other kids
And then
after
they
is
go
like
out.
the different color. And I like how you talked about your personal experience, because my personal experience was at face value, you get the hey, hi, how are you? And behind the back, from the family. And then behind closed doors, they say to their son, listen, she's Black.
Yeah.
Really?
They don't accept you.
Yeah. And the son's like, this is why I'm dating her. I like Black women, but they got to suppress it. They're not allowed to say anything. And I had a friend of mine that said she married white, and their family, they would not even let her in the home for Christmas dinners and Thanksgiving. She had to stay in the car.
Horrible.
And I said, well, why did you go through that with your husband? Why didn't he fight for you? And she said it really tore up the family until they had to break up, and they had kids together.
That's horrible.
And this is not something that happened back in the day. This just happened. Yeah. 2005, 4. And she was like, our marriage was just on rocks constantly because his family never accepted me. Because she was Black.
So
I could never be in that situation. I mean, they say never, but like, people have to accept you. And like, if I were to date a white dude, he would have to be accepting and open and woke as hell, because I'm not dealing with any of that stuff.
Oh yes, girl.
Like that would be
because the Black guys, when they're at a certain status, that's when they look at the white woman, right?
Yeah.
Right.
What I don't like is when these young, up and coming, either in the corporate world or in the athletic world, I think these white men or white women that's around them see the potential, and what they do is they start throwing the white women in their faces. If you go to because they know their pocket is going to start rising, right? They went from 0 to 1.5 million this. So what they do is the parties that they go to, white women, right? The cheerleading, white women.
When they go to college recruitment, they push white women at them. It's
then who pushes the white women?
Whoever's there trying
whoever
to...
in the back, the coaches, the agents, the whomever, because they know, right? White women look a certain way, and obviously that Black man, is going to pick this woman to be his girlfriend. So she looks like eye candy on his arm, and that pushes out the Black girl. And then what ends up happening is he marries her.
Well, that's kind of interesting, because if we look in history, like recent history, and we consider like O.J. Simpson, and you wonder, was that kind of like, it goes back to your first point about your circles changing as you become more quote unquote successful, right? Sure. And then you're now becoming further and further away from the Black community, right? And so
even when they hire, sorry, not to cut you, when they hire waitresses or their hosts, the bottle girls, a Black girl can go and she can give 1,000 resumes. It's going to be pushed to the side. They push the white girls in the faces of these NBA players, these corporate guys coming up the ladder, because this is the look that we want.
But then you could look at it from another angle too. It could be that perhaps maybe the Black guys could be using these white girls as a way to move up the corporate ladder.
They don't mind too.
You understand? Yeah. So it may not necessarily be. Yes, I understand your point that yes, they are pushing them. They are more available, but at the same time, some of them are saying, okay, this is maybe who I can use to move up.
Yeah, because a lot of the times those are the women that can open the doors because they're it goes
because
back to
they
it looks good.
Because they have the link, or because they're white. because it's who you know or because they're white. Because there's black women out there who's in the corporate world as well.
Well, especially now, it's becoming more common, more and more common. But
let's say here in North America, I'm going to say North America more so. I think you're right about this. There's this whole idea of if you walk into these galas,
Yes.
you will see some of these men who have money, black men who have money. They're not going to have a black woman on their own. I'm not saying always, but at that level, that income level,
Right.
they're going to have a white woman. In the corporate world, it's almost like it looks better.
It looks good
to walk in with a white woman on your arm instead of a black girl with her afro.
Right.
White is
I don't know
right.
if it looks better, right? Because so many times when you see a black power couple, it makes you feel really good. It empowers you. Like, look at Michelle and Barack Obama.
Denzel
Or
Washington.
Jay-Z
Oh, yes.
and Denzel
And
Washington.
Denzel
You're just like,
Washington,
oh yes, like that.
For
That
us.
is empowering.
Yes.
Yeah, but don't forget,
that's true for us. Yeah.